Hi.
Hello, Chris.
How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How's you?
Good. What's been happening since I last saw you?
Nothing really.
Just more of the same.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'm quite a boring human being,
Right.
to be honest. I've not even seen a Green Mile, so...
We established yesterday this is really disappointing.
You haven't seen... Oh, no.
No,
I know.
I've not. And I've not seen a lot of films that are deemed... I've not seen American Psycho.
I mean, I can maybe get that, but like the Green Mile is family friendly.
Is it?
Yeah.
We watched the trailer today, man, and it looked pretty grim.
It's dark in that, but you know everybody's family's seen it. It's like one of those like, Sunday night at 9 pattern, you know,
Yeah.
or Sunday night at 8 when it comes on, and you've
Really?
had it's
Oh, yeah.
Is it like, so you would find it on like a Sunday afternoon kind of show?
No,
where
it's not a
all,
Sunday
like, butchered and all that,
afternoon.
and taking good bits out.
No, it can't be a Sunday afternoon because there's some pretty sketchy scenes where people are. It's about people getting killed in the electric chair that are on death row.
Okay,
So
fair
it's
enough.
not a 3 in the
You
afternoon.
can't exactly
film.
watch that with your gran, can you? Unless your gran's an absolute savage.
I mean, yeah, I don't know really how. I don't know your gran, so
I don't,
we should.
I don't have a gran, so...
Right.
Oh, anyway.
So Big Dave's with us today.
Anyway, speaking of grans, here's Big Dave.
Evening, boys.
Evening, Dave.
We thought we would maybe try like a meet the team, but also there was a customer come in the shop this week that had some things that he would like to know the answers to, which actually Dave genuinely does have the answers to.
He does.
So you've been part of our team for how long now?
I've been
Well,
about...
Before we go into it, should
Okay.
we let Dave introduce himself to the audience who maybe don't know
Yes.
who Dave is?
Okay.
So Dave,
Well, how do you want to introduce...
Well, who are you and what do you do?
who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Dave McCluskey. There you go.
Hi, Dave.
Also known as his alias as Big Dave.
Yeah. Or Mr. Sheen. Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I've got an obsession in this shop about Mr. Sheen, and it just apparently cleans everything.
Well, not apparently. It genuinely
Like,
cleans
genuinely.
everything. Yeah.
Aye.
I caught Dave cleaning me one time.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't sound...
I think that's what got like my ticket into Drummers Only. When Paul saw me doing that, it was like, yeah, aye, right, okay, let's get him in.
So like Dave is known for his amazing rock playing. You played for a couple of big bands in your time, haven't you?
I started off, my major break was about 2012 or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was with a band called The Union, and that was two members. Obviously, you know the band, Luke Morley and Chris Giles for Thunder.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they kind of started a band with another guy called Pete Shoulder, who was in a band called Winterville, toured with Thunder back in the day. So they kind of clashed together, and I kind of got my break with them after they saw me play in King Tut's when I was supporting them.
Right.
It was the lead singer, and they had another tour after that, a UK tour, and the lead singer says to Luke, I want to get this guy in, because I saw him in King Tut's, you didn't, so let's get him in. No audition, no nothing, it was sort of like,
Wow.
message, bang, you're down to London. I was like, okay.
Great.
So were you at that King Tut's gig? Was it like a tour? Were you supporting them? Just
No,
on tour?
it was just a one night.
Just a one night. Or something?
I just kind of like get on the bill. I was with my first band, the River 68s, and we were just sort of like supporting anybody in Glasgow that you wanted to. It was just so happened we got onto that, and it was great. It was I would say I almost didn't answer the message.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I got the message. Well, I actually got the message when I was driving for Pete, and I looked at it and I didn't recognise the name, and I was like, I thought it was some sort of joke,
Right.
and I just put it away. That was
Oh,
like
really?
2 days later.
Wow.
It kind of dawned on me. I was like, that's that guy, and I was like, oh.
See, that's really interesting. When was that?
2012.
So that was 2012. So like, I mean, I guess nowadays, like, if someone leaves a message unread or something like that, like with an opportunity like that for 2 days, it's like, okay, this guy obviously next on to the next guy kind of thing. So like, they obviously liked you that much that they were willing to wait for you to answer, you know.
Aye, it was a wee bit kind of like hit and miss.
So like, if you didn't have to audition, did they just hear some songs, learn them, come and play?
Well, I heard from Luke about a week after that. He sent me an email, and it was sort of like, here's the set list, here's 14 songs.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a month to learn them, and then you come down to Terminal Studios in London, and
Right.
we're going to spend 3 days rehearsal.
Mhm.
And it was the kind of bit for me that it's sort of like, right, I've got it, is after I played the first song, and all three of them just turned around, shook my hand, and was like,
Ah,
right,
cool.
okay, you got it.
Okay.
You got the idea.
How long did it take you to learn the music?
I would say it got me like a couple of weeks before I was like, I could do it like blindfolded.
Uh-huh.
And I could actually play the tracks without even having to listen over the track. I was
Right,
sort of
okay.
like, right,
You just knew it from memory, kind of
aye,
thing. Yeah.
locked in there. But the first couple of days doing it, I hated myself. I just could not get it.
Did you like the music?
I loved it.
Right.
Yeah, it
obviously
was,
that's half the battle, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's when you love doing it, and the reason why I like doing it because it was different from what I was doing.
Right.
So it was kind of like, right, okay, I'm starting to learn new things here.
Yeah, sure.
And approach music. I'm playing softer, playing louder.
So, if Luke wasn't there, is that right? Luke wasn't at Tuts.
It wasn't a touch, no.
So were you playing different music from the band that you supported at King Tuts?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, way different. It was a lot more. See, you know, like the Black Crows.
Yeah.
See a wee bit more of the softer
Yeah.
stuff compared to like Hard to Handle.
Gone or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. A wee bit more softer like that.
Right.
So he was a wee bit kind of like, oh, he's got the idea, like,
Uh-huh.
and he just liked the way how I played.
Right.
I was a bit more natural.
Yeah.
Instead of being metronomed.
I saw you guys playing. Was it the Cat House?
Guys.
That was
yeah.
great. It was a great gig, man. Band were super tight. Like,
Yeah, I mean, those boys have been around the block. They
Yeah.
can't know the score and everything, but they're just so dead on
yeah.
and everything. And working with Chris Childs as a bass player, he's right on the ticket.
Right
on you.
Yeah.
Aye, and he knows when I'm off.
Oh really?
Like,
Yeah.
he's caught me a few times. He's like, maybe I've done a drum fill, and he's actually turned around one point and he's went, stop showing off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right, okay, rein it back in.
Brilliant.
Just
So, how long did you do that gig for?
that was about 5 years. I was
Oh,
playing with
wow.
them.
Okay.
And in the middle of that, doing other stuff as well, just
Yeah.
working with other people and that as well. But that's when it kind of fell into going with the Quireboys.
Right.
And it was
So did you meet the Quireboys through this gig?
no, actually,
No.
no. I only met Paul Guerin, the guitarist, at one of our festivals we were playing, and it kind of happened with our road crew. Was kind of some of the Quireboys road crew as well.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of overlapped sort of thing, and I just got the phone call. I think it was less than 24 hours because the drummer had left, and I get the phone call in less than 24 hours saying you're on the next ticket out to Barcelona. And I was like, who am I playing for? Who am I playing with? And the Quireboys are like, oh right, I only know one song.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So 24 hours to learn how many songs?
16 songs. They
Whoa.
go full. They don't stop throughout their sets. They're one after the other. They're right in it.
So how did? Okay, I mean, I'm sure you probably talk about this, but how did you memorize 16 songs in that amount of time? Did you write it all down? Did you chart it, or did you just go via
Memory
Just
muscle
memory?
had to
Wow.
come really kick in. I was that night. I was about 8 o'clock that night. I got the set list through with all the songs, and about 6 in the morning, I was leaving for Glasgow, out to Barcelona. Okay, this isn't easy.
So-
And I was on the plane, listening to the terminal and on the plane. And I didn't have that time. I didn't have an iPod. I was my laptop, so I'm sitting with this laptop.
And what's Barcelona, like 4-hour flight?
No, probably less than that.
Yeah, so you've
Yeah.
you've got like no time at all.
Yeah.
Because unless you stayed up all night.
No, which I didn't. I thought I had to get my bag packed because it was about a 2-week tour.
Whoa,
Um,
that's a baptism of fire, man.
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
I thought the Thunder thing that we'll get to later was a roast, but that's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
hardcore, isn't it?
That was a real eye opener, and that was where my memory muscle really had to kick in. But I had to play it safe, and I kept it hidden on stage, so that the punters weren't seeing it, so the band weren't sort of like, what's he up to? But I had to get my laptop next to me, and it was like, I have headphones there. As soon as I finish one song or something like that, just quickly grab the headphones, hit play in the next one, just so I know
How it starts.
how it starts, and bang, throw the headphones off and just count the band in and go. It was like, I had first couple of gigs for like, right, I need to have something there.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I take it when you play like that, then you're just not thinking about things like drum fills, or
No,
you just basically play without playing any fill-ins.
no, it was basically how's it start? Just crash it right in or
Yeah.
whatever. Don't even worry about drum fills or anything like how to maybe sections that stop in the song, just stop
Yeah.
it dead.
Yeah.
Like,
And how were the band with you on stage? Were they
very helpful.
helpful with you on stage? Because I've
Aye.
been in a situation myself where sometimes if you're with a band that you're not familiar with and you're playing songs that maybe you haven't played either in a long time or ever, where the band just stare at their shoelaces and just expect you to get it right. And it's really daunting, and that's because you obviously, especially if you've got an audience, you don't want to mess it up in front of them. But I mean, I imagine that's even harder because they've got people coming to see them specifically. You know, it's not just like they've been hired in.
Yeah, die-hard fans, like you're standing right there in front of you, and the band were great. I mean, I got to hand it to them. I had like Guy, the guitarist, and Paul, the guitarist. They were both feeding off each other. Maybe if one was doing a solo, right, I've got the other one there to come and help me.
Yeah.
And Guy had a great thing. It's sort of like he says, if you're going too slow or something like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stomp towards you, and that means pick it up. Or something like if you're going like too fast, he'll maybe do this thing where he was like leaning back on the guitar or something like that, and I was like, right, okay, that's wee indicators.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean, they've got. I mean, the drummers that have played for them.
I was about the 25th drummer.
Yeah, so they've had some. I mean, Jason Bonham's in there somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah, Jason Bonham. He's in there. Michael, is it Lee?
Oh, Michael Lee played for them.
Yeah,
Wow.
Played for them as well.
Wow. So yeah, it's been like quite the drum chair to sit on, really, isn't it?
Aye,
You know?
yeah.
With 24 hours notice.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long was there between like you meeting the band and stage time?
I was lucky enough. I met some of the members in the afternoon before sound check, and I was at obviously the same hotel and everything, and a few of them were outside, like getting something to eat and that. So I managed to like get introduced and everything like that. That was the hardest part for me. I would say is like kind of like relaxing because you want to kind of gel everybody in that. That's the hardest part,
especially
for me.
when you know you've got like do or die. You've got 2 weeks with these people as well. You know,
you want to get on with them.
Get on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that led to how long? How long did you play for those guys?
I was about I think I was 6 years actually.
So your choir boys and your union kind of overlapped.
It did,
Right.
yeah. I had some overlap thing, and that I made them clear of that, and they were cool. I says, look, I might have some tours with the union, and I hope like you're kind of cool. And I was like, no, just whatever you can do, just let us know. We can get somebody to fill those gaps there, and then we'll work it out. And that, and just so happened it did, and I managed to hold that seat with the choir boys for that length of time, which was great.
Yeah, so you're just juggling a diary, really, just juggling 2 gigs.
Yep.
I mean, I guess the good thing about it is that they weren't too dissimilar.
No,
Musically, it was kind of in the same bracket.
yeah, old school rock and roll. Just keep it 4/4 and just keep it solid. Don't act like I'm a metronome on the songs. Just relax. Just feed off each other.
Yeah.
And the main thing I always learn is keep your head up.
Yeah.
And listen to each member, what they're playing and everything like that.
Well, that was actually just what I was going to ask you. What did you learn from them?
Oh, mate, the biggest thing I learned from Luke, I would say recording wise, is first time recording with them when I was playing, and he's going like, what you do with your left hand? All these ghost notes. I was like, just keep it solid. And after I'd done that, coming into it, and I played it again, it was just like, wow, okay, it just opened up the snare.
Yeah.
Because there's all these like ghost notes in it, and it's like, what are you doing?
We as drummers, I guess we all have a tendency, and it's no kind of fault of our own, but we do have a tendency to overplay sometimes, and sometimes we also don't realise we're doing it, and it takes someone like that to be like, man, calm down.
Aye.
Or
Yeah.
relax a wee bit.
Probably, yeah. For sure.
And you're going to listen to these guys because they've been around the block.
Yeah.
And they took lessons off of people they were recording with
Sure,
back in the day.
Yeah.
It's all been passed down, hasn't it? Have you got like a favourite kind of moment that you had with any of the either, whether it be with the Union or the Quireboys when you were touring, that really stands out?
I think you know one of them.
I think I do actually. Yeah, I do. Feel free. It's not my story to tell, Dave.
I know. Since you mentioned it, I'm going to need to drop the name. It's going to need to be Clarksdale, Mississippi, in America, and Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Man.
Big Dave, you've heard it here first. Big Dave has played a gig with Morgan Freeman.
Was it a full gig, or did he just?
No,
sit in?
he just joined us for one song.
Right.
And for
Was he singing or playing guitar?
He was singing.
Right.
He was up there singing,
Right.
and he had all these like female backing singers, like friends and that with him and that, and we were
Brilliant.
just like in the guys in the background.
What?
Like,
So there's a video of this on YouTube. If people want to look for it, I'm sure they'll find
We'll share it.
We'll share it. Yeah, we'll put it in the
Aye.
show notes. But my favourite part of the whole video, like obviously it's amazing. Morgan Freeman's there and he's doing his thing. But there's a split second where Morgan Freeman moves out of the way and you can see you straight in the middle of the frame and you're just like, you've got that face about you as if like, what is going on?
Aye,
Like,
that was
what is actually happening right now?
aye.
It's amazing.
We got fair warning before, so like he might be there. Like, I was just sort of like, yeah, whatever. Like,
I mean, you take all that stuff with a grain of salt anyway, don't
Oh,
you? It's like,
yeah.
oh, he might be there. Like Taylor Hawkins might just come in. Like, or
Was it like a
whatever,
House
you
of
know.
Blues or something? Or?
it was like a sort of blues club.
Right.
He co-owns with the mayor in
Oh, wow.
Clarksdale, Mississippi, and he's a massive blues fan.
Right.
And he just loves this thing's like an old classic blues club.
Right. Okay.
In this town, and it's amazing, like all the wall art and everything like that, all vinyl everywhere, and that. It's great. But it was kind of like after it was like, what the hell just happened? Like,
Quickly get your shuffle chops down.
Do you remember
Aye.
anything about being on stage with
No.
it? No.
I don't remember
It's
a
amazing.
thing.
Wow.
Like it just being and gone so quick. But no, I'm glad the video footage is there because it's something I can look back on and go, right, okay.
Yeah.
And memories are there. Yeah.
And you had to dip for Thunder last minute, didn't you? This is great.
Yeah, 2018. That was a bit sweating. Yeah,
So
for that.
talk us through it. How did that come about? And secondly,
Yeah,
how
because
did you
this
deal
gets
with
into the question that the customer asked us. So
Yeah.
to give you context, the customer asked us, what happens if a drummer falls ill on a gig? What
Good.
happens to the band? So you
shout
can
out, shout
actually
out to Ian for asking that
you
question.
can actually answer this question because the drummer from Thunder fell ill.
Yep, he did. So Harry James, he came down with pneumonia.
Oh, whoa, I didn't know it was pneumonia. Jesus.
Yeah, he was pretty bad with it. They just came back from Japan, and some of them had caught a really bad flu, and Harry just happened to get pneumonia. But we were all about to. I was in the Quireboys, and Thunder were coming out as well to do the Monsters of Rock cruise, which was held in Miami, and it sails out to the Bahamas. When you're on it for 6 days. But I was down Gatwick Airport the 2 days before we were sailing out, and I got a phone call in from Luke, and he asked, how you doing, blah, blah, chit chat. I thought it was just like a sort of like, right, I'll see you out there, great. It was like, okay, sit down. And I was like, what's up? That's his exact words. He says, sit down. And I was like, right, okay, what's up? And he says, Harry's not well. I need you to fill in for us. I was like, oh no. I actually said, you can't do this to me, mate. And I was like, that's quite a big gig. And he's like, no, you can do it. Like, just take the songs, go and learn them.
Right.
You've got 2 days on this before you're on stage with us. So I got the set list when I landed in Miami.
What?
We landed, me and Keith, the keyboard player of the choir, was landed in the morning in Miami, and the set list, the email came through. It was 6 songs. I already knew 3 off by heart, classic Thunder songs. It was kind of like, right.
That's whew.
But the other ones, no, not quite. I was like, right, okay. So immediately, I didn't get to go and like enjoy myself downtime, and I was basically locked away, learning all these songs. But the big thing that didn't help was my bag went missing on that cruise, right, the whole cruise. So I had no sticks, no an ear pack or anything like which I carry with me and everything, and I had.
Is this just that the stakes weren't high enough? Like,
Yeah, my whole suitcase full of everything went missing throughout the whole cruise. It was left in Miami port.
So did it land with you?
It landed
right.
landed with us, but when we got on the cruise, it didn't make it onto the boat, and it was left in Miami port. I had that whole Monsters of Rock team stripping that ship apart because I was trying to like hype up. I'm playing with Thunder, blah blah blah, and Larry's like, right, okay, right.
I just imagine it like the framing is like Dave's case at the end of like a sea runway, and you just see the ship just slowing off in the distance in a sunset. But right before it, Dave's just like, oh, well, at least it can't get any worse. Nice.
So, what did you do for gear?
Well, there was
Because you've got 2 gigs to play now.
I had 4.
4 so 2 bands to play with. Though.
Yeah. You get 2 gigs each band.
Right.
So there was a couple of crew members that were good friends who I met like through time and that with the Quireboys, and they were on the cruise. And they actually asked a few drummers this what happened, and they actually got us like I think maybe like 7 pairs of sticks or something like that for me just to get me through the gigs.
So that got Dave through 1 gig.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you know me, I can't break stuff.
10 songs.
But I was 1 pair of jeans throughout those whole gigs.
I mean that's classic rock and roll. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. You know.
Yeah.
Febreze is your best friend, isn't it?
Well,
swimming.
Jump off the ship. Yeah, it was great fun. I made a few stops to the duty free to get some aftershave just to try and fresh myself up. But it was great though. But I didn't get a real chance to kind of zone in on it because I was kind of getting a wee bit. I wouldn't say like down about it. The fact my bag wasn't there and everything. It's sort of like, oh, this isn't helping. But I wasn't making a big deal about it. I was trying to like stay positive and letting the crew know, like, I know this is what happened. I'm not going to be a total idiot about this and create it all big. And that's what they all worried about.
He just tore his room apart, wrecked it.
Telly's in the sea.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, there's a lesson in there, isn't there, of just like staying cool when you don't have your stuff that you normally rely on.
Yeah.
You can't even be it's not even like you can change. You know, even
Nah.
you can't even get changed. So could have been the jeans you travelled in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like you've been travelling for a day and then you get on the boat and your bag's still there.
Aye.
That's kind of wild.
That's it. I mean, and Chris
Send a
Childs.
chopper.
Exactly. Chris Childs, the bass player, was lucky enough. He was a bit same size of t-shirt as me, and says there's a spare t-shirt, and I had like 2 t-shirts, and I was coming off one gig, washing one t-shirt in the sink, like just so it's kind of like clean, and hold that for dry, put the other one on, and just switching round all the time.
Hashtag rock and roll.
Yeah, the things they don't teach you at music
I know.
school.
Yeah, totally.
Wash a t-shirt in the sink. Yeah.
So, you got through the gigs okay?
It was great. Yeah, back to the point of the gigs. The only rehearsal I had was Luke's cabin.
Right.
It was just me and him, his iPad, and basically going over the songs. And it was just a few wee things he was like telling me, like, right, float the floor on that one, just keep your bass drum solid with that one, and then just wee breaks and everything, telling me, right, have a look at this. But there was one of them that was a real kind of shuffle one. It was a kind of bluesy sort of shuffle, and it was really relaxed, but the timing of it at the end, I slightly messed it up live, and he turned around, he's like, oh, jazz.
Well, see, that's the other thing as well, like, they were cool to work with. Like, if I imagine there's some people out there, if you were to do that on a gig, you would get never again, and you just be like, oh, well, this guy's who is this guy, you know?
I think when you put people under that kind of pressure, there has to be some give and take, right?
Totally.
Yeah, you need to, I would say, always have a bit of give or take. Don't be so harsh on the person. I mean, imagine you were in that position, and it's just sort of like, just take it easy and help them through it, for God's sake.
I mean, it's a massive compliment that they phoned you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they were about to pull it.
Right.
And because Luke was up to high door with it, and he couldn't figure out what they would do and everything, and there was 2 people, Chris Childs and Pete Russell, the sound guy. They were the both that said, oh, Dave's going to be on the cruise, and he went, right, that's when his brain clicked in. Right, okay, I'll put the phone call in.
Amazing.
It was nice of them. It was very very nice of them to ask me to do
Absolutely. Is that the only gigs you did with them? You didn't do any more than that?
that. No more than that.
Right. Harry recovered and all that, didn't he?
Yeah, it nearly happened again. I never spoke about it, but it nearly happened again last year.
Right.
But he was okay. He went through some serious surgery, Harry.
Right.
So he's a wee bit kind of like, when he gets unwell, he gets unwell.
Yeah.
So
And that's quite the gig. Like, just that whole process must have been crazy.
from start to finish, that's just like, wow.
Losing your bag as well.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
I know, like the added stipulation of, oh yeah, and you have no fresh clothes or your sticks,
drumsticks, your monitors,
anything.
You know, what did you do for monitoring? Was it wedges?
I had to go back to wedges,
Right.
which was, I spent about 3 years on an ears, and it was so weird going back to like monitors.
Yeah.
Wedges, just really uncomfortable because
As well, eh?
oh god, like but luckily enough I had my carry-on bag, which had my laptop, my little plugs and everything like that. But you'll know that as well. See when you like come off like in ears, how weird it is to like if you put like just ear protectors in.
Yeah,
you
it's like playing underwater.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
It's like playing underwater.
You can't control the band. I found it so controlling with the band with in ears.
Yeah. But you know, like you just got to dig in. I think you know, dig down a wee bit and just got to get on with it. Really.
Yeah.
You know, because your mix would have been so weird.
Oh,
Trying to get the monitor guy's attention for like more vocals and whilst discreetly count the band in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Know these songs really well.
But I would kind of like really say it to young players as well. Learn the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Learn with in-ears and learn with wedges.
Yeah.
Just in case that situation pops up.
I mean, in-ears weren't even a thing learning when we were coming up. You know, you just played.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you didn't even have a monitor.
No.
You know, and you know, PA or the guitar amps were behind the drummer, or at least parallel.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that's why it's called backline.
Exactly.
Because it was all in a line.
Yeah.
Backline. So yeah, you just got on with it. You know.
Yeah.
You might have a monitor for the singer to hear themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like trying to hear the singer from you know,
Aye.
where are we in the song? Very, very strange. But yeah, I think you're right. Getting people to learn that way is
Yeah.
It's a roast, but it kind of pays dividends down the line.
Yeah.
yeah.
So is that like? Would you say that's? Where would you put that? Would you say that was like one of the hardest times you've had touring, or one of the best times you've had touring? Like, where would that fall in your spectrum?
It's always been to me the best time
Yeah.
because it's made me learn so much.
Yeah.
I never kind of look at it as sort of like that was really tough and everything like that. It's just sort of like I maybe look at it at the time. It's just so hard. Like I'm really struggling here, but then once it's done, and everything is sort of like I learned a lot. That's
So
great.
in those two, you know, when you went to Barcelona and then when you went to the Monsters of Rock cruise, what did you do for drums?
Everything's like hired in.
But like, were they someone else's drums? They weren't
No.
your spec. Did you get to spec what you wanted?
The Quireboys one at the time I didn't get to spec it.
Right. So you just played the kit. That was it.
Yeah, you need to just turn up, play. I didn't get to carry my own cymbals.
Right.
It was just basically a bag full of sticks.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That was basically it, and I got told, right, everything's going to be hired in for you,
Right.
so don't worry about a thing. And it's sort of like, well, I'm not going to be really picky about this, and
Yeah.
kind of like, I just want to go over there, start the gig, and get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And it was the same for the Monster of Rock.
Right. So was that sort of one kit for everybody playing, or did Harry have his own rider? Did you have your own rider for the Quireboys?
Well, for Thunder, obviously they had the spec sheet for for Harry.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that. I've been trying to do that.
Funny enough, that's their intro tape. They actually had Harry's spec, but because the night before I played with Thunder Monster of the Rock, I'd already played with the Quireboys, and when I popped on stage, they're like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm playing with. It's like, right, okay, we know your spec then. And the guy already had my monitors roughly saved in.
So cool. So you didn't have to. Yeah.
I reprogram again and everything, because the Quireboys and Thunder, the same sort of backline band.
Right.
There's keyboards, there's
Two guitars, a bass.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you have to play two different drum kits?
No, it was the same drum kit.
Right.
We're playing in the same theatres.
Right.
So it was all the same road crew that was in there.
So is that something you had to get used to, just playing road drums?
Yeah.
What's that like?
I mean, it's quite difficult when you're like changing. I would say that the bass drum pedal,
Yeah.
especially see when you're switching out different bass drum pedals all the time, like 9,000s, 5,000s, Yamaha. Oh man,
Yeah.
you have to spend that wee bit of time, not saying rattle it constantly in sound check, but just getting used to your right foot on that pedal.
Yeah. That's mental. So because you're for the longest time were pretty particular about your gear. You know, the cymbals you played have been the same cymbals for like the last 5 years. You've been playing Avidas cymbals for you know, until you bought your New York kit. You've been playing Gretsch. You still have Gretsch drums.
Yeah,
know,
I've still got my Gretsch.
So then, what do you get? Was it all DWs, or is it all just whatever's there? Or
In America, it's mainly DW
Right.
because of where we are. It's America, they're everywhere. I find mainly in Europe, Yamaha's a big thing.
Right.
In Europe, and Peril.
Right.
Really is a big thing in Europe. I find that with the festivals, especially Peril and Yamaha, seem to be the two main ones that I get. In
What's
Europe.
the worst backline kit you've had?
That's a I actually got a CB.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
This is a tiny wee town in Sweden somewhere.
That's actually amazing.
That's brilliant.
Did you break it?
No, but the bass drum started rocking. Like I was, no, it was actually two CB kits that were put together.
Brilliant.
I
Were they
don't-
different colours?
Aye, they were.
Yes!
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, black and white.
Brilliant. That's amazing.
Aye.
Did they have at least decent heads on them?
No, they were all trashed heads as well. They were,
Stock heads.
aye, they were all
Paper
dented.
heads,
Aye,
amazing.
and it was gaffer tape was coming out.
What I mean, did you have your own snare drum?
No, turned up with your sticks.
Wow.
I don't know what the guy was thinking, but I turned up and this kit was set up on stage. It was two bass drums, rack of toms, and it was two CB kits. Like I was like,
What were the symbols?
I can't mismatch. Like they were Peisty ones, Sabian ones, but they were like aluminium.
Right, yeah, I did a thing in Germany and turned up to a 3000. I sold a 3008, which was a great kit, but some broken ZXTs.
Great.
Like every single symbol was broken on the kit. Right symbol, two crashes, hats, all broken.
Wow.
I guess we're playing broken symbols tonight, boys.
I know.
That's pretty much what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
What's it like playing that crash when it's broken?
Well, it just donk. It just didn't make a sound, you know.
Yeah.
You're just like, guys, there's nothing I can do about this. You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing's going to save this at all. There's literally nothing you can do.
Yeah,
You know, can't even put a chain on it and make it sound like a symbol. You know, just
it's unbelievable.
yeah.
Like
it's-
a bin lid. You might
I mean,
well be hitting a bin lid.
I've done. I remember playing a gig in Edinburgh when I was playing original music and turned up and it was a tornado kit. But on a big tour, like you would expect.
Yeah,
'Cause you put a spec sheet in, right? You put a rider in,
we did. It was just a one-off gig.
right?
We flew in for, and it couldn't get any better. I was like, we are absolutely bust, like jet lag and everything like that. We fly into Sweden and we've got a whole day there.
I just see this CB kit rocking around on a stage and you behind it, just like, what is going
As
on?
big as zebra looking thing.
CB pedal. You know,
Oh
just like,
no.
brilliant.
We've got diehards like Quireboys fans turning it up, and I'm trying to rock out on this kit and this bass drums. Like,
Love it.
I mean,
So-
you hit them pretty hard, right? So what do you do there?
I had to rein
He
it.
just sends the bass drum halfway across the room. That's what he does there.
Yeah, the barman got it and he said that night.
It's like, you know, the band are looking at you like, what's going on, big man? You're like, well,
Aye,
have you seen what I'm playing?
aye.
Because they'll have still had decent amps.
They had 4x12s and Marshalls in them.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, the big man up the back gets like a 200 quid
Give
from
him the CB drums.
you know, his snare drum's more expensive than the entire backline drums.
Yeah,
Totally.
should have got an endorsement with CV.
That's pretty special.
I had to rein it in.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like, well, I can't go hell for leather on this kit. It's like the way I
And
use
you
it.
play like thick sticks as well, man. Like you would have through that thing. Like
Yeah.
I would
Aye.
imagine.
It's I don't dent my heads. That's the thing, but I felt like denting the heads on this thing.
I bet it sounded amazing as well. I bet you made it sound amazing.
It's probably the nicest
aye.
sounding CB kit probably.
Yeah, I mean,
ever.
through mics in a big room, I bet it sounded great.
Aye, bass drum was banging.
Yeah, just gaff it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, take all the high end out.
Oh, I went to the toilet to win a toilet roll just to try and do
Brilliant.
something with the toms, like because you can tune them.
Yeah.
I guess if there's a pro out of that as well, aside from just having to just turn up and just get on with it, is that you get really good at tuning drums very quickly.
Oh,
To get them to
you
sound
need
decent.
to come in quick.
Yeah,
Aye,
just can't be messing around.
aye. You need to actually basically look at the kit and go, right, okay, I need to do something with this quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of like sitting down with it and then panicking, you need to just be able to look at it and
So,
go, right, okay.
did you get turnover time or sound check time?
Yeah, we got sound check and everything, but That took about an hour and a half.
Right. Do you get to take drums away? Like, I'll use one up, one down at a bass drum, just take the rest away.
Oh, I told it, because he set it up as like Motley Crue. Like this,
It's just, I love the in-house text like, right, we've got a rock band coming in. Obviously, every drummer has this exact setup.
It was like Tommy Lee's turning it on. Just I had to say him, I was like, I'm really sorry, it looks great, but I want one rack, one floor, and a bass drum, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What, you see? I was like, yeah.
I will not play that. And it's just going to get in the road as well, trying to play a normal fill-in, and you've got drums everywhere.
It took up half a stage.
Yeah, brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that, does that take you into, like, because one of the things you've been kind of known for in here is the kind of, the fixer, eh? You fix stuff.
I like to fix stuff, yeah.
So is that a thing from tour? Like, you learn to do that touring, or is it just the way you're wired?
It is, exactly. Yeah. Best way to put it. It's just the way I'm wired. It's just I like to be hands-on, fixing things, and just get involved with that sort of thing, and actually learn how to fix it as well.
Yeah.
And I actually picked up the whole sort of like fixing, cleaning thing, and it was just sort of like I learned it myself.
Right.
It was like, I'm no kidding, but when I first came in here, I thought like Mr. Sheen. I tried that, and it was just sort of like really scrubbing it hard. And it worked.
Dave's the guy you go to in the shop if all like logical options are out the window. It's like, I don't know how to fix this. You just shout on Dave.
You float out the back.
And Dave comes.
But surely that skill helps when you're on tour.
It does, yeah.
You know, like when you're on somewhere where you've got dog shit drums to play.
Yeah.
And you know, or
Yeah, I've had a few moments where it's sort of like I need to fix the snare drum.
do you keep a spares bag?
I do actually. Yeah, I mean, obviously the felts, some like wing nuts and everything like that. I try and keep all those sort of thing. I mean, you never know what you're going to turn up and get. But try and keep like a small amount for what you can take as a carry on as well on a plane. Because sometimes when you're doing these gigs, we sometimes only took a carry on.
Right.
Because I mean the price of taking on a bag, bloody hell.
And I mean, if you're only going to be away for 2-3 days,
What's the point?
yeah,
Like, you're taking a big bag,
yeah,
so
for sure.
and
You're actually when you're saying about taking spares to a gig, you're actually the guy that's caused me to now take a spare bass drum pedal to a gig as well.
oh, there you go.
I remember you telling me that you had a horror story with that as well, about how a bass drum pedal just like broke and
Yeah, I had a horrific one with that. I've had the chain snap, like down on me. I've had a beater snap on me. Went right through the head, but the actual metal part snapped.
I've had that happen as well. I was playing a gig in Belfast with a band, and first hit the bass drum on sound check as everybody, like, I checked the kit, but then as soon as we went to do a song, first hit the bass drum, beater snaps. And it's a Sunday afternoon in Belfast, and there's not a drum shop around, let alone open.
Yeah, I had
Like,
one happen on a gig as well. Beater broke.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had kept the original beater I had in the case,
Right.
so just swapped them back out. I've had a pedal spring snap as well, and not have a spare,
Yeah.
which is not a good look.
Oh,
No, it's not great, is it?
Thankfully, we were in Edinburgh, and the guy playing bass knew the jazz bar really well, so just went and pilfered the pedal from the jazz bar to get us through the gig. So that was thankfully a bit of a saviour, you know. 'Cause it's bad chat when that happens, man. I keep spare everything now, spare top and bottom heads for snare drums and stuff.
Yeah, I do that now as well. I had a top head go on a first dance at a wedding, and I'd left my spare snare in the car, and so I had to play the rest of the set, which was like an hour and a half, with the snare flipped upside down and
you
just
have-
like tickling the top head.
You don't have a trigger?
I didn't have one with me at that point, no.
Oh, man.
And it was like, it wasn't even just like the head broke, it like actually split like
Right.
clean in the middle. It's
No way out
no, there's no way out. What can you do? So I just had to basically flip the drum upside down and get the guy who was doing sound to like crank the snare drum, and I would just tickle it so it at least sounded like I was hitting something substantial, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a good look.
So in amongst all that, you were still doing like pub gigs and that kind of thing
Yep.
as well?
Yeah, always come back home, doing pub gigs. I just didn't really stop. And I enjoy playing pub gigs more.
Right.
Because it's just such a buzz about playing a pub gig, and like it's it's coming home and like, just seeing the idiots like kicking about the pub, drunk and everyone dancing about, and like, I mean, you get your diehard fans at these gigs, and like they're jumping up and down, blah blah blah. But see when you're at a pub, man, and these guys are falling about, but you're like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, it's a more in your face thing, isn't it?
Aye.
Because I guess with bigger bands, you don't you see the front 2 rows maybe.
You do.
And that's about it.
Yeah, it's like a black curtain.
Right.
On some of the gigs, and you maybe see a couple of folk, but it looks like there's nobody else out there. It just looks like there's a black curtain down off it. Yeah, it's weird. And you know, it's called the O2 Academy, but the Callan Academy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On stage in there, that is a black curtain.
Yeah.
It looks like you're playing to nobody.
Yeah.
Aye, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, and if they're not loud, you're like, isn't anybody out there?
Yeah.
Did you find going to things like in-ears would take away the crowd noise and stuff? And, pretty isolating for that.
Some guys I know who ask for crowd noise in their in-ears, so they at least can hear it.
Boundary mics and all that set up.
Yeah. It didn't really bother me taking away the crowd noise, because it means I could really focus on what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And if the crowd are loud enough, usually I could hear them over.
Right.
When like songs finish. But what you're saying about the having the crowd in, Russell Gilbrook for Uriah Heep, he has little bullet mics at the side of each stage. So, and he has his own mixing desk there, so he actually feeds it in himself.
Oh, well, cool.
So he does it that sort of way, so he can kind of get a reaction.
Yeah.
So
see if you were playing a home gig, like you were playing in the UK with these guys, would you take your own drums?
Oh yeah. Yeah, everything gets taken down to wherever we're going out to. Like either rehearsal or first gig and everything like that. I keep all my stuff home. And I find it for the itinerary where we're going, it gets taken down south, and then it gets taken from there. But I always carry my own stuff in the UK and that. And sometimes if we're travelling out to Europe, with either splitter or bus or anything like that, I'll take my own stuff out there as well. But I'm quite reluctant to letting other bands use. Like, you're a headline band. You're not going to turn around to AC/DC and go, can we use your stuff?
It's different than playing local gigs. You know, smaller venued gigs where that becomes a thing. 5-band bill and no one's a headliner. You know, it's your show.
Aye, exactly.
Did you have a tech?
Not always.
Right.
No. It wasn't through like anything bad or anything like that. It's like I just sometimes like to set up my own stuff, and it means I know everything's okay. But we always had techs with us, like a guitar tech either side of the stage, and they kind of had a rough idea with the kit and everything if something went wrong.
I mean, I know that Johnny Scott was talking about this, and he wasn't allowed on stage at certain points for insurance and all that. So there was only certain people were allowed to set up the gear, and he wasn't one of them. You know.
Yeah, Johnny was telling us the first time he plays his drums is the gig. Like, he doesn't even sound check it or anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I had Matt Jenkins on 2019. He was my tech for a tour we were doing with FM, and it really helped when I got Matt in. It really took the pressure off, because it knocks you out when you're having to load in your gear, set up your kit, and then pack it out. You're knackered by the end of the tour. You're really, really done in. And Troy, right?
Oh yeah, Troy. Right,
he was talking about that as well. Like, he was having to set up a lot of his own gear, and he says it was really hurting his hands at the end of it because you're tightening stuff and everything like that, and you're playing as well. It was really knackering his hands.
Do you play better when you've got a tech?
I do.
Right.
Yeah, you feel more comfortable because you know that you're not having to. Why is that moving? And you know that when I had Matt behind me, he had his eye on everything, and it was sort of like I could actually kind of enjoy it a wee more better, and just actually focusing on kind of what I'm playing and everything like that. So
if something goes wrong, will he take care of it?
Oh, he was all over it. Yeah. A few situations, like a couple of things went wrong, and next thing, he had it sorted before I even could. Because
he had his eyes on it.
You could see it happening. Yeah. So he was all over it. So it does really help having a tech if you're fortunate enough to get one.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously we're talking about you. That was your own band's tour, but how does it work for festivals and things like that as a touring drummer?
Festivals, you get I mean, we done a lot of our festivals in Europe,
Uh-huh.
like Sweden and Germany and everything like that. And we
So that they would be like, you wouldn't have your own drums at those.
no, we hired in. It was
Right.
all backline hire, and sometimes we were only flying in for like 2 days or something
Right.
like that. So it's like, what's the point of taking crew?
Yeah.
Which we just thought, like, we'll fly and do it ourselves, and then we'll come back off. But you are literally, you set up your stuff at the side of the stage, and once you're set up, you're out of here. Until like every switchovers happening and everything like that, they need to have that place clear because it's massive switchovers.
Yeah.
And I guess when you're talking about things like insurance as well, like
Yeah.
that'll be the exact same thing. Like,
liability insurance and all that. you know,
Yeah,
if something
totally.
goes wrong when you're on the stage when you shouldn't be, you're not covered.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that kind of thing.
Aye,
You know, amazing. So then, how long have you been here now?
I've been here. Is it 4 years?
Well, you tell me.
you tell, you tell us.
You tell me.
I
God,
mean,
that-
you've been full time now a yearish.
Yeah. I've been fully like full time, roughly about a year now.
Right.
Aye. Because I was always coming off tour, coming in and working and
picking up
that.
shifts and back.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. But now working in full time, it's even more great now because you're
Yeah.
learning a lot more.
Absolutely. You know, I can imagine. Well,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I know that the sort of rate you learn at
Aye.
when you
Yeah.
when you come to work
Yeah.
here is huge. You know.
Oh, you need to
But
be on it.
you'll have experience to bring with you. You know, you'll have different things to like. You know, things like all that touring experience of working with weird gear will let
Mhm.
you know how drums work.
Yeah. I mean, young guys coming in and I'm blabbing on about this, and it's just sort of like you try to just rein them in and just kind of go right.
Yeah.
Just focus for a wee minute.
And I've seen you do it as well. I've seen guys come in with all these ideas of, I want this, and then you'll just literally strip it down like bit by bit.
Aye.
Just be like, well, if you want to do that, don't get this instead, because this will do the job what you want to do much easier, or blah blah blah, or X, Y, and Z. You know.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting to watch from afar actually.
Mhm. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're
Taking that time to do that.
Well, that's it. I mean, you really need to take your time with these guys coming in like off a tour and
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it means things like if guys are, you know, if the touring pros are coming in, you understand that life.
Yeah.
You know, so if you know, you can have a chat to them in a way that maybe Adam and I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got things in common with them that we won't have in common. You'll understand what it's like to be on the road for 6 weeks, and we won't, because we've
Yeah.
not done that. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, you can chat to them about being road worn and all
Mm.
these other things. You know, that we just be like, hey man, drums, eh?
Yeah.
You might have a different insight to that. You know.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's like a situation. It was when I was down in Leeds, working. Brett for Drum Depot.
Mm-hmm.
He made a call in. It just so happened I was working that day in Leeds. He found out I was there, and he says, "Oh, I've got this band on tour. Them Damn Crows they were called, and he's coming up to Leeds. He needs this pronto, blah blah, and he needs you to help him out, fix it and everything like that." And it was great because it's just sort of like, "Oh, Dave's there, he can sort you out," and everything. So it was kind of nice that sort of way. Touring band,
Yeah.
he can sort you out and
Yeah.
fix whatever the problem was. It was something to do with snare.
Right.
It just needed fixing that, and it was like, right, okay. no
Speaking
problem.
of, if anyone listening wants a snare overhauled,
Yeah.
Dave is the guy to do it.
Yeah.
Dave is
absolutely.
the man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I had what was that free floater? The pre-owned one we went and had.
Yeah. We've got a few of those.
Aye, bloody hell, and that
Yeah.
was that was shining.
Yeah. You need to fix them.
No. I was trying to signal to you subtly. If you could talk closer to the microphone,
Oh, I'm sorry.
because
Yeah.
you're very far away,
Okay.
and I would like the people to hear your dulcet tones.
Okay. I'll put it here.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, you can just embarrass me. And,
I realise that now.
right.
I've grown past the time of being shy. I'll
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
yes.
Just talk into the microphone,
Talking to
please.
the microphone.
Okay. I'll talk into the microphone now.
Good man.
So drum maintenance has obviously been a thing of yours for a while. How would you suggest or teach people drum maintenance? What's like 5 key Dave drum maintenance things that they need to know?
Well, one of the main ones I would say is stop leaving your drums in the car overnight.
Well, yeah, the amount of people
Yeah.
that get them stolen as well.
Aye, exactly.
Yeah.
Aye, but condensation is a big killer to drums, and especially see if you're playing that night and you're sweating, it's going over the drums. Sweat marks are on it, and next thing it's staying in the motor overnight. It's just like, It's going to rust.
Yeah.
Like, there's rust marks going to appear. I know it's hard, but stop doing it.
There you go.
Yeah. Uncle Dave
He's been
said.
told, aye.
Okay, what else?
That's one.
I'd probably say the grease your screws up.
Your inserts.
I grease them regularly, because you'll find that see when you're like your tension up next thing, you're playing like a first number or something like that, and you're like, oh no, that screws up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Thread and screws and all that. You know,
So,
tension rods.
Number 2, grease is the word.
Aye.
3.
Change your heads regularly, like when
Okay.
they need to.
Okay, so this is a debate people ask us about all the time.
Every day.
How often do you change your heads?
I would say my bottom heads, I don't change them as often as I change my top heads.
And this is on Tom's you're talking about.
No, this is on snares.
On snares
I'm
as
sticking to snares now. So I would say on snares, depending on how often you gig, if you're gigging like every weekend, say like 3 nights a week, every weekend, depending on how hard you play, if you're a soft player, change by the end of the month or something like that. Like, they're going to be fine. But if you really lay into it, maybe a couple of weeks, freshen it up. I mean, it's going to be full of dust. It's going to there's going to be crap sitting in there. Even if it's a case of just taking it off and cleaning it out, it might be okay. And just place it back on. So yeah, it's kind of like that theory.
What about your bass drum?
Bass drum, I would say I've had a bass drum head on there for like 3 months or something like that.
Okay. And you're playing how often?
When I was playing solid, I would probably like five nights or something like
Right,
that.
okay, a week. So
Yeah.
you're getting a lot longer from the bass drum than you are from the snare drum.
Yeah, you're hitting it with a felt.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it doesn't need to be hit. It doesn't need to sound the same either, does it? Because it's
Yeah.
dampened and all that as well.
Aye. But just remember, put a patch on your bass drum.
Yeah.
Like, make it last longer. But if different stories, if you're playing with the plastic side of the beater,
Yeah.
it might
or a wooden
dent it.
beater. Right,
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Tom's?
Tom's, I would probably say like a couple of weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, Tom's, I can lose, not the bottom heads.
Right.
Bottom heads, you might just need to detune them and retune them again, and
Okay.
everything like that. But yeah, freshen up with the top heads.
Right.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Yeah.
So it's a full... I mean, what heads do you play?
At the moment, I've went over Evans.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I'm using the UV2s.
Okay.
At the
Top
moment.
and bottom?
No.
No.
I'm using
Stock heads on the bottom, I think.
No, actually, I changed them
Right.
out. What am I using on the bottom?
G1s?
G2s, sorry.
All right. So
Coated G2s.
Okay, wow, okay. So UV2's top, G2's bottom. What about your snare head?
I'm using a UV2 on that as well.
Oh, are you?
With a 300 on the
Right, okay.
the bottom.
I didn't know that. I thought you would have gone something heavier, but you're quite happy with it.
No, it's working out great.
Yeah, those heads last a while, eh?
Oh, brilliant. Ever since I shown them and like how
Yeah,
to tune them and that, I
Yeah,
thought,
was that
I'm
January
gonna-
Ben was in?
It
Something
was
like that.
January,
Yeah.
That was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that.
You could
Yeah.
tell Dave was like a kid on Christmas that day.
Yeah, I was
Excited.
hugging him. Yeah.
It's kind of weird when you grab Ben though and you just like hugged him for a while. That was a bit.
Ah, it's
Yeah.
about
That
it.
was
Bear hug.
Yeah.
It's all love,
Yeah,
man.
took him out for dinner and all that. And it was just like, the weird bit was I saw you both going into it. Anyway, no, I'm not getting into this.
Carry on.
Anyway, so that was 3 tips. So you've got 2 left. 2 left to
Here, check your snare wires.
Okay.
I popped a snare
Valid
wire
point.
the other day.
Really?
Yep.
Just for nothing, or
Just
playing
Nah,
it?
well, it was after I played it. I mean, I was playing for about 3 hours.
Right.
But I went and lifted the snare and I just like ting 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 ting, and then lift. One of the snare.
Do you snip it?
You can laugh what you want. mate.
Do you snip them straight away?
I do. I bend them back, just so that I'm not putting the wires in and it doesn't catch the head. In case if you put snippers in, it might catch it and
When
bust
you
it.
take the wires off,
Yeah, no, just
leave them on.
just leave them on and can't bend it back, snip it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long would it be before you then change that wire over?
I've had about 2 months out of like a
Right.
wire or
So
something.
is that a wire even, but with a strand or 2 missing?
Yeah.
Right. So you're
Aye.
happy enough. Because
Aye.
I guess you're not necessarily looking for intricacy all that much if you're just
Yeah.
pud smack, if that's your thing.
If it's still got life in it,
Yeah.
just keep using it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So That's 4. 5th one, last one. Hardware, anything to do with hardware, pedals, anything like that.
Are we sticking to drums or like hardware?
No, I mean just like if you generally.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You're the maintenance man.
Yeah, true. Actually. Yeah. Oh, come on. Oh no. What's the 5th one? You really got me there, Adam.
Bag of spares, maybe, or something along those lines. But there's a specific spares that you would always keep.
Here's one.
Here we go.
Right, drumsticks. Right, see if the head of your drumstick starts chewing. Don't keep playing the drums because it could end up denting the head. It could.
That also sounds awful.
It does. Yeah, and you try to play a ride cymbal with a chewed stick.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound quite right. Next thing you give him a new stick. Oh, sounds better.
Yeah. My stick's all chewed. My cymbal doesn't sound right. It's obviously the cymbal's fault.
Yeah, I've had some interesting conversations like that.
You said that in like the tone of like a weathered man of like, I've seen some things, man.
Just some things that'll make you, sometimes people don't get it. I've had people, they love the feel of a stick that's been played for 2 years, but they're like, I can't get that with a new stick. Like, well, it's not going to be the same. So. People have an interesting relationship with their drumsticks.
Yeah, they do.
Sometimes, they like the sound of it beating up.
Yeah.
For some guys, it's like a competition. Like, how long will this stick last me before it literally like turns into sawdust?
Do you remember? Wee Gary used to teach you.
Yeah.
Like, you should just see the middle of Gary's stick. Like, he'll just play it till it looks like an hourglass.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the exact same.
Really?
Like, yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, like he has the middle of his left hand stick. His snare drum stick is almost worn out, and just over the sort of just under the top of his hi hat stick, just they wear in 2 places, and he just keeps going till it snaps.
Going. Yep.
Rim shotting constantly.
That's it. Some people just don't want to buy drumsticks.
It's true.
I like buying new sticks.
Yeah.
I like to treat myself.
Yeah, I do, man. It's the little things in life.
We love treating ourselves.
Gail, look what I got. Fresh pair of sticks.
Yeah. So that, I mean, what can you remember them all? New heads regularly. Look after snare wires.
Grease
the wheel. Bass drum patch and bass.
Yep. Was it?
I'm sure there was something bass drummy in there.
There was, yeah. Well, it's changed, so
we're doing well.
Yeah, people are looking at it like,
let's go to the tape.
There's 5 things in there.
Yeah.
Don't keep playing.
Comment below.
Totally. Okay. What's your procedure? You've done videos on this. We when we started lockdown, we did this. But what's your cymbal cleaning procedure?
Oh, right, okay.
So for those of you who maybe don't know, when the Rona was rife, Dave was done a fantastic job of doing kind of maintenance videos for the shop on the lines of obviously what we've all been speaking about and everything, and they were great. And Dave can clean a cymbal like I've never seen anyone quite clean a cymbal as thoroughly as I have with Dave. So do you want to talk to us through the process of how you clean a cymbal, Dave, and why everyone else does it wrong?
Yeah.
Yes, I will tell everyone why they're all wrong.
Yeah, here we go.
Brace yourself.
Well, there's something I need to be clear about. First off, pasty cymbals. There's certain cymbal cleaners for certain cymbals.
Correct.
And pasty, you need to use pasty cleaner on those cymbals. Because if you use other cymbal cleaners, it's going to be a green gunk everywhere, and you're not going to get it back to life again.
Yeah, it's like it almost kind of goes without saying. Like, if you play a certain brand of cymbals and that brand makes a specific cleaner for that brand, use that brand.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Yeah. Stick to the brand. My process of it is like you'll maybe see like like green marks or something like that appearing on your cymbal. Sometimes it can be condensation or something like you're going in and out of venue, so it's hot to cold cars and blah blah blah, or sweat is coming off you, and it's just drying in on the cymbal. The green marks are appearing. So I like to just get the cymbal right away, and get the cleaner on it, but leaving it for like a good couple of minutes, let it eat into the cymbal. And because somebody will spray it and then they'll clean it right away. But
see, that's pro tip.
Aye,
Leave it on there
Absolutely.
for a while.
yeah, let it eat the cymbal.
Let it eat the cymbal.
Well, especially I'll go with groove juice.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's with the cymbal cleaner with that, it's like a hot and cold cloth.
Right. So you have two cloths. You have a hot one and a cold one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And you're cleaning up with the kind of hot one after you've sprayed it on.
Right.
Then wipe it down with the cold one after that. Then once you've got that, dry it off.
So sorry, just to kind of backtrack a little bit. So the heat obviously helps get all the stuff off, and then you're cooling it right down.
Yeah,
Okay.
but obviously avoiding labels.
Yeah.
I mean, they're stamped on these like kind of labels and
Logos,
that. Yeah, and you just if you start to work your way, there's a high toxic in like these cleaners. If you go immediately to those logos, it's just going to wipe it right off.
Yeah.
Sure.
Aye.
I know some cymbals, like Pasty, have a protective lacquer.
Yeah,
So you can only use Pasty cleaner.
that's what I just
That
say.
will
Is that-
just-
yeah,
right,
Aye. Yeah, I mean, it's going to if you use all cymbal cleaner, big green gunk's going
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
come up.
Have you ever found anything like that? You ever had anything like that with using polish? Or is polish always just like Mr. Sheen?
Well, I'm actually just about to get to that.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
That's me told.
Sit down.
Conversation maintenance. Let the man speak.
Proud. So Dave, talk to us about your love of Mr. Sheen.
The whole process I was talking about with the cymbal cleaning the hot and cold, and then you're cleaning
Yes,
it.
and you're, you know.
Aye.
And then you're out.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
Come on now. That's just...
It's my khakis.
Yeah.
Is this what you usually like in the shop?
Yeah.
It's like the banners
It's
kicking in.
hard not to, man. It's hard not to. It's fine.
So, yeah.
Aye. Yeah.
We get seagulls on the roof, so that's
Golden
probably
falling
what
off.
that is.
Yesterday we had a man on the roof. I never told you guys this.
Really?
We had a guy on the roof, and apparently Gordon was saying that there was a man on the roof. Sorry to divert from
No,
something
I
for
want to hear
just
this.
a split second because I need to get this out. We just heard the seagulls walking on the roof, and then all of a sudden we just heard like giant footsteps, and we're like, either it's a man or a giant seagull
Walking on Damundi.
walking on the yeah. So there was a guy up there apparently cleaning out the gutters of the roof.
Okay.
So, and some dead seagulls apparently.
I mean, that was way...
Was he using Mr. Sheen up there?
Yes.
There's a segue to bring it right back.
Segue,
Aye,
yeah.
I'm not even... Yeah.
What?
Like,
Back over here. Back over.
so, your process for cleaning your cymbals, how do you clean them?
Yeah. Right. Well, groove juice. I'm going back to.
Right, okay.
Right. We're spraying it on, and then we're leaving it to let it eat into the cymbal. Blah
Yeah.
blah. Let the process of it cleaning it and taking up all the gunk and that hot and cold cloth. So I'm cleaning it down with a hot cloth, and then taking all the marks off of it. Blah blah, and then wiping it down with a cold one, and then drying it off with a normal cloth. Then to really buff it up, I use Mr. Sheen on it.
Right.
I kind of go heavy with it,
Okay.
just to get a good film on it and let that eat in for a couple of minutes.
Right.
But just going around it with circles and circles, and then really buffing up with clean cloth, and that's what does it. That's me. It's dead easy.
I've never cleaned a cymbal in my life.
Come on.
Have you
See,
not?
never.
Really?
Oh,
No, never. I should maybe start, but
Because you're not wanted to, or
between not wanting to and I'm super lazy,
that's fair.
you know, like
Yeah.
I just like there's stuff I'd rather do with my time, but I admire Dave because Dave does it regularly.
You should give your symbols to Dave.
Well, some of them, because some of them are like old and they sound better because they're grimy.
I was going
Yeah.
to say that. Do you like your symbols?
The darker stuff I use, yeah, like super grimy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, you know, like I don't think I've got artisan hi hats, and I don't think they even have a logo on them now. They've been
Wow.
played out so much, you know. So yeah,
Mhm.
not necessarily. I might just. It's a thing for me.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I was actually watching Sabian. I've been doing some really cool Instagram stuff, and talking about, you know, a symbol will play itself in and it'll change over the course of its lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, they were doing I think they did a replica symbol for like Chick Corea or something, the piano player, because he had the ride symbol somebody used on one of his albums is really famous, etc., etc. But they had this dilemma where they couldn't decide if they wanted to make it like super brand new, 40 years old, or somewhere in the middle, because they can replicate those sounds. You know, so I think they opted for somewhere in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
Because after a certain number of years, a symbol will totally change. I remember about 10 or so years ago as well, there was this old myth that drummers used to bury their cymbals in the back garden.
Huh?
Like, legitimately, they would bury them in the earth. So Sabian took 100 artisan cymbals and buried them in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember you showing me this video.
Yeah,
It was really
they
cool.
did these one-of-a-kinds where they buried these cymbals in the ground for a whole winter to see what it would do.
Uh-huh.
And it fundamentally changes the pitch of them, because it, you know, they'll lose some high end or some low end, or, you know, I think the majority. I think they found that it brought the majority of the middle of the cymbal out, so it sort of took it tone off the top and the bottom. You got all this mid came out. So I think we had one for a while. I think we you know,
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, they were called like 1 of 100 or something. They were called artisans. That they buried in the Canadian dirt and did a whole digging up video and stuff. So it was quite fascinating, you know. And apparently Stanton Moore, apparently heard it here first, uses lemons on his. He washes his cymbals with lemons because it ages them. So he'll get his new cymbals and he'll put lemon juice over them and rub lemons all over them to age the cymbal, because that's the sound he wants. You know,
Wow.
so those old 50s sounds, those 50s Ks that people are trying to get, apparently lemons is what does it for him. I'd heard, you know.
So, do you think he would do that with his signature symbols?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like a
okay.
thing he does, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
because he doesn't necessarily want them to be super shiny and new, you know.
Right.
So he'll take some
Is that-
lemons.
So is that kind of the same theory as like a guitar player would put their guitar like in a cold room or like a freezer to relic it?
I have no idea about that. I didn't know that was a thing that they did.
Yeah, some guitarists, from what, again, you've heard it here first.
Yeah.
But I know of certain guys who will buy a guitar brand new and want it to look as if it's been played for years.
See, for me that's weird, because that's just an aesthetic. It
Yeah.
doesn't change the sound.
Yeah.
At least I don't think it changes
Yeah,
the
I
sound.
was going to say, because it's still wood, innit? So it'll still change. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
but there's lots of electronics that are doing the work. And the minute you put it through an overdrive pedal or
Aye,
an
it
amplifier's
doesn't really
colouring the
matter,
sound,
yeah.
there's so many other factors to a guitar than a drum, you know. Like, can you imagine coming in and buying a relict Black Beauty?
Which
you
you
know-
can get now. Ludwig Roberts.
You know, yeah, but that's not relic. That doesn't look like it's been mistreated for 40 years and like tied to the back of the car and driven down the street. You know what I mean? Because some of those relic guitars just look like they've been beaten up. You know,
Yeah.
that's just the natural shell.
Yeah, it's just when the
You
air
know.
oxidizes. with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So it's not 40 years of use. That's what the relic thing's trying to achieve, to make a guitar look vintage.
Yeah,
You know, you've got a 60s 400, right?
I do. Yeah.
That's it's Pit Mageddon.
Oh well, yeah. It's
Again.
It's,
it's pretty bad. Yeah.
so can you imagine buying that new? That Ludwig had created that drum with that amount of pitting on it to sell you new for £1,000.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know what I mean? And like, it just wouldn't happen. You know, in Drumsville.
Fair enough.
Not on
I'll
Big
hold-
Dave's watch, anyway.
I know. It's
Big
like-
Dave would probably take it back to the raw aluminium. And just, yeah. I had that actually happen. A customer who bought. He used to come for lessons years ago and bought some stuff off his bike. He bought a kit for his grandson. Had an original 63 400 and the matching classic maple.
Right.
He had
okay.
drums from the 60s.
Wow.
And this snare drum was minted, and he wanted it cleaned, so he took it to a guy to clean it, who took it a buffer to it, a high-speed buffer to it.
No.
He did, and he dented the shell, and he took all the chrome off it. The guy was nearly crying. It was like, you realise the age of that drum, the value of that drum, and the guy ruined it, and you can't get it re-chromed. It's I don't think anybody will re-chrome it for him. Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. You know.
Dave's not going to sleep tonight. No one thinking about that.
I don't know. Just give you guys a number. Like, something.
I'll go fix it.
I'll fix it.
It just came back to me. Like what the fifth one was.
What?
Stop leaving your drums overnight in the motor.
That's it. That's right. So yeah, I imagine that your prized possession, and someone takes a high-speed buffer to clean it and takes all the aluminium off, or all the chrome off the aluminium, and dents the shell.
As if like losing all the chrome plating wasn't bad enough. Just to,
I mean, apparently it was minted. It was like a new drum.
yeah.
All he wanted was a clean. It's
No.
like, imagine going to pick it up. Like, just like
Give it a pull cord.
just like like you say, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, so heartbreaking. So yeah, there's a.
I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do in awkward situations like that. Like, what do you do like in those situations?
I know.
Like,
I mean, imagine that was a guy had brought a drum in here to clean, and we drop it and break something on it, and it's like,
I've often real talk, from drum shop employee to other drum shop
Okay.
employees. I've always wondered what happens in those situations.
well, nothing's. It's never happened
Okay, so that's that.
because we're careful, you know,
Okay,
and we have a pretty solid reputation to.
to uphold.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've never damaged a customer's gear that I can think of, or that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Nah, that's the thing. I mean, like, we're always got our eye on each other. And
Yeah.
you're like, if we're about to do something, you're going to get smacked over the back of the head. What you doing?
This is why anyone who comes out of the shop and they don't see me again, it's because I'm carried underneath the shop.
I
dropped.
I've damaged stock.
Are we going to tell this story?
I'll tell the story. Yeah.
Right, love it.
There was
I don't love a story, but
2008. There was Tama Superstar Custom.
yeah,
Dropping stuff.
Superstar.
It's my own stock. Superstar Custom was the lacquered version of the Superstar kit that used to be made. It was back when we had 10, 12 and a hanging 14. And I took a 14 out the box and scored it right up the staple from the bottom of the drum, from the top of the drum right to the bottom of the drum, because I never noticed the staple. Because for those of you who don't know, when a drum kit comes to the shop in a box, there has massive industrial staples that staple the box so that it doesn't open or get damaged in transit. I'd opened the box and I thought I'd taken all the staples out. I hadn't, and I lifted this drum and scored out the length of the shell. That was pretty bad. You know, it was an accident. It happened. We sold the drums off cheaper than we should have.
Yeah,
Move on.
we all
You
do.
know, we've all been pretty good with accidents and stuff like that happens in here. You know, we've all dropped something. You know,
Drum key for me.
like Kale Dave dropped a drum key. My wife dropped a drum key on my brand new Sonar kit right on the bass drum
That's what
shell
I done?
on the first night I took it out, and it put a little dink in the shell.
That's exactly what I done with a Tama kit in here.
Yeah.
Setting it up, bang,
Yeah.
right off.
I mean, finishes are so fragile. Some of the finishes we have in here are super fragile.
Yeah.
Like we've got to be careful cleaning them. It's like when you dust them down, because you can scratch the lacquer.
Mhm.
You know.
You can, some dusters can actually scratch the kits in here, so we need to use certain dusters with
Yeah.
other kits.
Absolutely.
Dust of politics.
You know, I mean, there was a spate of, you know, occasionally cymbals coming in with dings in them.
Oh.
Certain, I'm not going to name brands and stuff, but it's just because of the way they've been stored in a warehouse. You know, if they've been stored on the edge, you've got to send that back straight away. You know,
Yeah.
like, nah. You
Yeah.
know, not to, I mean, that's not even talking about the perils of drums being damaged in transit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if they've turned up from a company and, you know, we've had that before where kits have come in broken and
I think I remember in one of my first weeks here we got a kit in. I can't remember what kit it was, but I just remember distinctly that it had a crack in the shell.
yeah.
And it was fresh out the box, and it
Mhm.
was just a big, it wasn't even just a small, it was a massive like crack, and like within the shell you could only see it through the drum head because it had a clear head on it. Like, whoa, that's not supposed to be there.
No, I mean, there was companies for a while were doing like 7-piece kits in a box.
Aye.
That's going to go wrong somewhere. You know, 7 drums in one box is going to you're going to get some damaged drums along the road. You know, you can only mitigate for that so far. You know, you can't control that. You know, so we've definitely had kits turn up cracked. You know, cracked bearing edges. You look like you've got a story.
I know. I remember a time like I almost screwed it up.
Dave remembers a time when he almost wasn't sitting here right now.
I know. Yeah. The old shop. It was in the morning. I was out doing a delivery, And
I think I know that story.
no, you don't actually.
Oh, no.
It was way before your time. And we just got a brand new Sonar SQ2 and a black lacquer on it.
Right.
And I was out doing a delivery, and Paul had just got one of the Toms out of the boxes, but he was talking to you and Gordon in the office, and this thing was sitting on the front desk, and I just walked in, and what did I do? Like, I'd slightly moved the Tom across, I like pushed it across the desk. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he kicked me. And he's like,
I remember I wasn't working, but it's stuff of legend. Liam caught a snare drum that had fallen off the top shelf. You know, in the old shop where we had we could have the drums right up high.
Yeah.
A snare drum fell, and Liam caught it before it hit the floor.
you remember the
What
make?
a legend.
Yamaha, it was a stage custom.
Oh,
It was a stage custom snare. I'm sure it was a stage custom. Liam, write in and tell us if we're right. But Liam caught a snare drum like inches off the floor, like Superman dive, caught it. Just heroes don't wear capes.
No.
They catch drums from hitting the floor.
Do you know what? That just makes me love Liam even more.
Aye.
What a hero.
Yeah, amazing, you know. So
Be
yeah,
a hero, baby.
it can be precarious.
that was dodgy up in that one. He's trying to get drums up there.
you know, but you know they look great. So
They do.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, we
it's the sacrifice, bro.
We made it look great, but that arch roof, it was like...
Yeah, that was hard. But yeah, you know, I've sort of got to be careful with dealing with gear. You know, you've got to
Aye.
be quite precious about it, but also not, because it's not ours at the same time. You know, so we still have to sell it. Don't become attached, but treat it well.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
Treat it like your own drum kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not laughing.
So what drums are you playing now? Tell us what you're playing. Because you bought new drums recently.
I did. I'm playing Peril Reference Pure ones.
Right.
Yeah.
What made you change? Dave was a Gretsch man for the longest time.
I love Gretsch for... I always still do.
Yeah, and you still have a Gretsch kit.
Yeah, I've got a new classic
Yeah.
sitting in the house. But it was time to upgrade.
Right.
I mean, I had a Renown maple for so long, and it was just sort of like this Reference Pure came in roughly the same sizes of what I had, and it was just sort of like, well, if you're going to go for a Renown maple to a Reference Pure, it's sort of like, hi, you're making a big jump.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's a small backstory to that kit as well, because we teased you forever to get that kit.
I mean, it's
I
just
feel
right.
like
Well, it ticked all the boxes. You love mahogany.
Yep.
It has mahogany in the shells on the bigger drums, so and it has maple. So that was like taking the two Gretsch kits that you had and literally putting it into one kit.
Oh, aye. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't think you've got anything smaller than a 12 on that kit, do you?
No.
So you don't have any birch in it. So it's maple and mahogany.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like the perfect kit. It's black, rock as it gets.
Yeah, it's a matte black finish.
What sizes?
So I've got a 12, 13, 16, 18, 24. So, I mean,
that literally screams Dave.
Yeah.
you can't get any more like bigger than that.
Yeah, but it's proper rock and roll drums, right?
Aye.
Do you ever play the 5 shells? 12, 13, 16, 18? Yeah. Do you
I
ever
have.
set them all up?
Yeah, I have done it plenty of times. I mean, doing that, I like doing the rack toms offset
Oh, okay.
for the bass drum. I just think it's a wee more comfortable because I can get that ride cymbal in.
Yeah, sure.
But it shifts your hi-hat over just a wee bit. But who cares? It's just sort of like, you get used to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a bit of stretch on the legs when you're trying to do that. You know, like, aye, it's a wee bit uncomfortable. But no, it's good fun.
Yeah, and those kits sound amazing, eh?
Unbelievable. Like live, I've had every sound guy like tell me, it's just like, I don't even need to do anything with this kit.
Yeah.
It's like the low ends there, I'm getting the right amount of pitch for obviously the high end with
Which
the
is like
maple.
the perfect news you want to hear as well.
Do you know, it's
Yeah.
the reference is still the only kit that Gordon's like, yep. Whenever,
Really?
yeah, Gordon loves a reference for live when he's engineering them. It's his favourite kit to engineer.
Yeah.
Um,
He was wanting to take a deposit off me.
so you're digging the reference?
Oh, loving it. Yeah, and just loving everything that Peril's doing, like with those kits. And see, to be honest, I mean, it goes way back to their exports.
Yeah, they do make amazing drums.
They do.
What snare drum you playing?
It's kind of mixed between the two. I've got a Sensitone 6.5.
What kind of material?
It's just a standard
Steel shell?
Aye.
Ah, right.
Sorry.
Okay.
And I've got a chrome over brass Gretsch.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
6.5 as well.
Yeah.
Right. Is that a Brooklyn or a USA custom?
I think it's a Brooklyn.
Right. Yeah.
actually,
they're great.
yeah.
Um,
And the big boy I've got is the Gretsch 14x8.
the Swamp Dog.
Oh no, you've used one as well.
Full range.
Full range.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, my God, you can do
Yeah.
anything with that drum.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
Just,
Do you ever play two snare drums, like side drum and
I
main
have
snare?
actually in a pub gig once,
Right.
and I've had to have one high pitched,
Yeah.
and obviously
I feel like that 14x8 would just be like big ballad snare.
yeah,
You know, absolutely.
Aye,
Just
right.
tune it way down,
yeah,
given the size of the drums you play. You know.
put a big fat snare drum on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
So that's a maple and a brass and a steel. So that's going to cover all the bases, really. Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Those sensitones are great as well.
for what they can do.
Yeah, I'm
Aye.
pretty sure it's the very similar shell, if not the same shell, to the Ian Pace drum.
It is, it's very
but
similar.
Ian Pace has the kind of grommet things on it. They help dampen it and stuff. You know, it's
Yeah.
got different features on it. But yeah, they're great shells.
Yeah, and it was a standard triple flange tube was on it, but
Right.
I changed it out and put a die cast on it,
Okay,
and it just opened it up
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
more.
like a shotgun.
Aye, but
Mhm.
it busts your sticks even more. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Did-
so much
were-
better.
Were you playing 24 bass drums before?
Always
Right.
like, except for way back when I played the 26.
Okay.
It was, remember the
26. Wow.
I used to play 26.
Is that a Gretsch kit as well?
That was a Premier. It was an old,
Oh, okay.
white-
Artist series.
I think it was,
Yeah,
something,
I
white
think-
marine.
Yeah,
So-
I think I remember those. They were the artist birch kits.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember those. Aye.
that's him.
Yeah.
And I actually traded it in here
Right.
and got the Gretsch
Catalina.
Catalina one, the Black Sparkle.
Hmm.
Because Catalina in the 26 wasn't fun.
No, no.
That's where you need a road crew.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you've got to even think about things like the size of the case.
Oh,
And that would
and it was a
go
hard
on.
case. Obviously.
Yeah. So, that was when you drove your van.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you would need to for a kit
Aye.
that size, eh?
26. Yeah, and I played some pub gigs with a 26.
Wow.
And it was.
Was it by like 26 by 14?
Yes, it was
Wow,
actually.
that's
yeah.
like bottom as it gets, eh?
Yeah, I mean, and I only put strips of felt on.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so the front head was it still intact?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Aye, there was no porthole.
Great.
And it just felts on it, and it was wide open. Like,
I bet that sounded amazing.
it was unbelievable. I mean, the guy in King Tut's, he's like, that thing's a cannon.
Yeah.
Like, but you're killing the band.
Oh really?
Aye.
Okay. So was that when you came to buy a new kit? Was that a consideration as well? Volume? When you
Not
went
really.
Because you went down to 24.
My main reason I wanted to do it was actually Taylor Hawkins,
Oh, cool. Okay.
and it was the Pretender video.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's when he switched to Gretsch, wasn't it?
that was the kind of
Because he played Tama for years and then he switched to Gretsch.
Yeah, I mean, he was great on the Tama kits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but when you saw that video and you saw he's playing Gretsch now,
Yeah, was it a black sparkle? Or was it just a black lacquer?
it looks like a black sparkle, but
Yeah.
I mean the video moves about that much, you just can't tell.
Yeah, I know. Sounds amazing.
Aye.
So you went to Catalina, and then you
Yep.
played and the Renown at the same time.
No, I had the Catalina for probably about 4 years. I done a lot of touring with that kit.
Right.
Served you well.
I did. I didn't fault at all. Nothing broke on it.
It's super light.
They
as
are.
well.
They're so damn light.
Yeah.
And so great. Mahogany shells.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
on it. So it done the job, and then that was sort of like, right, okay, touring's becoming a bit more and more here. Let's
More
get some.
important. Yeah.
Aye, let's
Yeah.
get something a bit more roadworthy.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was
Sexy.
aye.
And what were your Renown sizes?
Renown was same as the Catalina. It was 24, 13, 16, 18.
Okay. What finish?
It was dark walnut. I remember.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I ever saw your Renown. Actually, I don't remember.
You had it. You had
Did-
it. Here.
I can't remember it.
Yeah. It only lasted like I think a weekend here, and then it was gone.
Right. Okay.
Aye.
Because it's a great kit anyway. Like, it sounds
Yeah, for
amazing.
sure.
Yeah, done the job. Yeah, beautiful to record with because you got all because of the maple, the higher end.
Yeah.
Is
Did
there-
you record that with the Quireboys?
Quireboys, Union as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you'd recorded with you.
Yeah.
Because I remember you did a blues album with the Quireboys.
Yep. Yeah, I done I've done. I think it's 4 or 5 albums of the Quireboys.
Oh right, okay. I didn't realise. I'm so ignorant, man. I had
No, it's
no
cool.
idea. I thought you just. I didn't realise they had done that many albums when you played with them. I thought it was just that.
Who are you?
Forget you. Have you recorded the reference yet?
I have.
Why did you not use that on the latest?
I did.
Quireboys, yeah.
Ah, okay, right, great.
I got to record in Rockfield with the reference.
Amazing.
Aye, that was
Special.
it was pretty special getting that kit in there.
Did you notice a difference in the sound of the drums with that versus the Gretsch?
Oh, massively. It was just the tones were a lot more lower because of the mahogany, and I was getting so much depth out of that bass drum, and it was a lot more controlled for me. With the maple and mahogany kind of sitting with each other inside that bass drum, everything was a lot more controlled.
Yeah.
There was no like overtones or anything like that happening, and the toms as well. But I only had the 12 at the time,
Right.
but I was still able to control it.
Yeah.
It was fine. I mean, the rooms in there are brilliant, but those flow toms are unbelievable.
I bet.
Especially the 16x14 because the air's going through it so quick,
Yeah.
and you don't need to do anything with it.
Okay.
Um,
Is it an 18x16 floor
Uh,
tom that you've got 16, 14, 18, 16?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. So it's, I mean, you go to the 18s can be a right pain to tune something.
It's a reference pure, eh?
Yeah.
Aye. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause the distinction is that the shell is thinner.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did the engineer in Rockfield have to do anything to the kit?
Not much.
Not much.
No,
Just
no.
a little bit of kind of EQ and
Yeah, a wee bit of EQ in here and there. But I like to kind of go in prepared. The kit's already tuned.
Sure.
Instead of spending like a whole day having to tune
well,
it.
it just means that everything kind of
Aye.
runs a lot smoother that way. You're not having to start from ground zero,
Yeah.
basically. You
So-
can at
That's
least
it.
go with a head start.
Yeah.
And I take it you would always rehead the drums before you got the others. Brand new heads for a recording every time.
Not always.
Not always. Okay.
No, I like them kind of a wee bit bedded in.
For
and played.
okay, right, okay. That surprises me.
Yeah, because sometimes detuning starts happening and
Right,
you've
okay.
maybe got that sound already there if they're already played in.
Right, okay.
Right, and it's sort of,
Fair
I
enough.
don't want to tamper
Yeah,
with this.
fair enough.
But it depends on your recording situation. If you're recording a lot,
Uh-huh.
then you might have to, like, say, change it to snare head or something like that.
Do you play differently
I do.
in the studio as opposed to live?
Yeah, I would say I would play a lot more controlled and
Right.
less arms.
Right.
Like are coming up. Like it's
Yeah, because
just,
you don't need to. It's not a show, is it?
I mean, who are you trying to impress?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Aye, the wee bird outside the window. It's
Yeah.
like,
The flying bird, obviously.
Aye. So you just kind of wind it in a bit, and do you hit them as hard? Because you can still hit them hard without the arms up in the air, you know. So
I would say mainly depending on what part of the song.
right.
Like you say, like you're a certain part of the song. It's like, why do you need to hit the rim on that?
Yeah, sure.
It's just sort of like bring it up, man.
Yeah.
Just hit the center.
Mhm.
But then as soon as it maybe, I don't know, chorus or something like that, or like you're going to
The ride out and the fade out.
Aye,
Yeah.
ride out. It's just
Yeah.
sort of like start laying into it, and that's when maybe the left arm will maybe come up,
Right.
and you're bringing it.
Well, that's it, because you also want to capture the energy at the same time as
You
well.
do.
Don't you? You know, like
Yeah.
getting a good drum take
Yeah.
sometimes requires that you kind of give it the same, maybe not exactly the same as what you play live, but
Yeah.
at least a bit of kind of like get
Aye.
up and go about it. It's like this is going somewhere, it's driving.
You want to have the hair stand up the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when,
Absolutely.
Right. This is working here.
Did you change your cymbal setup for a recording?
Not much. No.
So what's your cymbals?
Cymbal setup at the moment is Zildjian Vedas, and it's a 24-inch ride medium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I always thought you played a 22.
Nah, 24.
We're learning about our friend today.
Today on Not Knowing Your Friend So Well.
Who are you?
Today on Who Are You?
Crashes.
I'm on 20s now. I'm on two medium thins.
Right.
And I've got a thin as well.
Mm-hmm.
So all three 20s and 15-inch medium hi-hats.
New beats? Or just regular? Oh,
Just regular.
Right, yeah. Mediums. You said that.
So yeah, it's working out.
So super simple, no China, no effects, just
Nah.
2 crashes, 1 ride, hats.
Yeah, I turned up once with a China, and
Didn't
the
turn up
singer's like,
twice with
what
China.
do you think, you're playing for Prince or something like that. So I thought, what's that mean?
Well, there you go. That's basically means don't bring that china out the bag.
I know.
Uh-huh.
So I slowly slipped off.
They're starting to write out your P60.
It's alright, I brought it back out in one of the festivals and
Yeah.
didn't even notice.
Magic. I got you. So across the board then, the name of the game for you is super consistency.
Yeah.
Same drums, same cymbals.
I find it, what's the point of changing your setup in the studio to what you play live?
Yeah, I mean, some people could argue that darker cymbals record
Yeah.
differently from brighter cymbals, and they might want that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they might want you to have crashes that don't bleed in everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, were you isolated in Rockfield, or were you playing in a live room?
I was isolated in a kind of a drum sort of chamber, they call it.
Right.
So it's you're in the drum room. It's wee slight riser, and these big, like I think they're like 4-pane like glass or something like doors.
Yeah.
It was like, and then bang.
So you weren't bleeding cymbals into amps or
Nah,
anything?
the amps are actually away in the other rooms. They
Right.
disappeared somewhere.
Okay.
So even
So
the
they can
guitarists
crank,
can't play them.
Yeah.
So everything's like away feature, not miles away, but like
Yeah, I
far
get it.
away.
Yeah, I get it.
Far
Yeah.
away feature, and
Yeah.
I can't even hear them
Yeah.
unless I'm dialed in
Yeah.
my talk back. So yeah, it kind of works that way, and as long as everybody's away from you, it's the better thing.
Yeah, for sure.
and
Absolutely.
You can control your cans a bit more.
Here's a silly question. Well, it might be a silly question, it might not. Do you, when you're recording drums, do you change the heights of your cymbals,
I do.
right, to keep them away from certain microphones and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen that. I've seen people like they raise their crashes so that they're away from hi-hat and tom mics and stuff,
Yeah.
and so that there's more space, less bleed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if you're hitting them hard.
Yeah. I do. My crashes raise up quite a bit, and obviously a slight tilt on
Yeah,
them, so I'm not cutting the edge.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
you're going to bust them.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, unless you got some endorsement, then cool, you can do that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I've seen that being done before. I wasn't sure if that would be something. Cause, I mean, you're playing rock and roll, so
Yeah, exactly. But have you seen the
Is it
old
just your crashes you do it with? Do you do it with your hats as well?
hats slightly come up, so there's a bit of separation between like the snare and like the
Yeah.
hats there, and maybe there's a slight shield that goes over
oh
the
yeah,
snare
yeah,
mic.
yeah, yeah. I've
So
seen
there's
that.
not
Yeah,
bleed
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
absolutely.
there. But have you actually seen? There's a Foo Fighters clip kicking about, and Dave's in one room with the cymbals,
Yeah.
and
Oh, I
Taylor's
haven't
in
seen
the
that.
other.
No, Taylor's playing drums and Dave's playing cymbals.
Aye,
Oh wow.
it's bizarre.
I mean, I know Dave grows hi hats. There's about 12 yards between his hi hats and his snare
You
drum.
get
Like,
bust
he's
through them.
like famous for that, you know, because it means he can play the hi hats. He doesn't have to be uncomfortable. He can play them at the heights he wants. It's
Yeah,
quite natural, and he
Uh-huh.
hits them really hard.
yeah. Aye.
No, I'll need to check that out. Are they recording something?
They are I don't know what album it is or
Mhm.
anything like that, but they're just having
That's
a.
maybe Sonic Highways when they recorded in like loads of different studios.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
I'll see if I can find a clip.
Yeah.
But it's really weird and.
If we find it, we'll put it in the show notes as
Yeah.
well.
Aye, definitely.
So, if you're a younger drummer listening to this and you wanted to get into the touring game, what advice would you give people? Because you've never been one to party, have you?
No.
You've been always quite business, not business minded. That's the wrong word because that makes you sound square or something. But you've always just
level-headed.
yeah. Thank you. Aye.
Aye.
So, what advice would you give to younger people that want to go into that world?
What kind of got it for me was I always wanted to do session work, and I always wanted to play with different people. But I thought, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this, like, we just sitting about in the house.
Mhm.
I thought, like, I need to get out and play with different bands, different artists. Like, even if it's just a case of, like, being in Glasgow and, like, playing with, like, not big people,
Mhm.
but just actually getting around.
Mhm.
And what worked for me was going to jam nights.
Right.
I was always at a Wednesday night jam night in Saltcoats,
Oh, okay.
and learning off of these old school players
Yeah.
and that. And I just next thing got involved with my own band, and then we were always out there, and I was always talking to like the producer, like in the studio and everything. I was, I'd love to do that, blah blah blah. Next thing, the ball starts rolling,
Mhm.
and get your head screwed on.
Mhm.
Don't be like all kind of like massive showing off and everything like that.
Like egos and all that, like keep your ego in check.
Yeah. Just play the song. Don't turn up and thinking you're a bit of a ticket. Everything like that. Just walk in the door and just do your job and go back home. That's what I find helped for me.
And because you never really got into the party side of, because those rock and roll bands can
They
put it
can
away,
party, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just you'd finish up the gig, and if you were on tour, would you just hang at the hotel or?
I
Or
loved
on the
hanging out
bus.
with the road crew.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
after the gig, I mean, some people were like partying and everything like that. I mean, but sitting with the road crew, having a laugh with them, or like I'd disappear back to the hotel and just go to bed.
And the band never gave you flack for any of that?
No, they were
No,
fine.
that's good. Just because
totally.
some
Yeah.
people that might be the thing. They want to know if you can hang out.
Yeah.
And you might just want to have a cup of tea and go to sleep.
Yeah, it's
You
totally cool. And I was very fortunate where I worked with a lot of guys who didn't drink in the band, so
Okay.
it kind of helped.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I enjoy a beer now and
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
you're allowed to, but never drink before you go on stage.
Mhm.
Because I've done it once.
Right.
I'll admit I've done it once, so,
Yeah.
and it's you can't realise like, nah, I won't do that again.
Right. Okay.
You learn from your mistakes,
Yeah. Yeah.
but get out there and get involved with the players. Don't just sit in the house thinking, oh, my time's going to come. Just get yourself moving and get involved with other people.
So you were never really precious about playing different kinds of music?
No.
Right.
Nah. Learn different kinds of music, and what helped for me is actually going in at the deep end.
Right.
And learning,
Okay.
and it actually got me learning more faster.
Right. Yeah. I mean that would have helped you with getting called to do things in half an hour. You know,
Yeah.
like you need to be at the airport in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Can you go? Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
Same with the music.
Exactly. I mainly find that if you're learning something and you might get bored with learning it or something like that, but see where you're learning it right in the deep end, it seems to for me personally, it goes in my head a lot more quicker,
Right.
and it stays in there.
Right.
But if I'm having it I want to learn that, I sometimes get bored there, and
Yeah,
it's sort of
yeah.
like, but nah,
Yeah.
that process of like I need to learn this quick to play
Yeah.
live.
I've been watching. You've been doing a lot of sort of videos with the ED10 recently, and the one thing I've noticed that is pretty scary, phenomenal is that you sit on the drum track on the actual track, like sort of it's almost like the original track's invisible. How
Yeah.
did you learn to do that? Because that's an amazing skill to have.
Yeah, that was training my ear.
Right.
And I've always been told that I never sit on the metronome.
Uh-huh.
I always seem to sit behind
Right.
the metronome, and I had to find out, is that a bad thing or something? And they were like, no, it's actually quite a good thing.
I think it just depends on the music.
Yeah, some music you do have to sit on the metronome.
Or on top of it, or
Yeah, right on it, or just relax,
yeah.
just chill out when you're playing. And I find that a lot of those songs I was actually playing were kind of like old school stuff, so maybe the metronome wasn't there back in the day when these guys were playing. They were just like playing to feel, and I thought like, right, I'm kind of just playing to feel on this and just like kind of try to zone in and what they're doing. But I didn't post it. I played a Lady Gaga. I was playing a Lady Gaga song.
Get that posted right now.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened back to it. It was terrible.
Line me up.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You might end up actually on the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh man, it was awful. I listened back.
Imagine that. Come in one day, where's Dave? Oh, he's playing for Lady Gaga. That would be unreal. That would be
pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. How come? Well, he posted, Poker Face on Facebook, and the next thing you know, it went viral. This rock god is playing Poker Face. Next thing you know, but get it posted, man.
Oh
For sure.
man.
There was I actually remember showing Amy this video because I was just sitting watching it, and it was you playing along to Maroon 5, Harder to Breathe,
Oh
and it was the build up right before the last chorus of the song, like right during the middle eight, and you just absolutely going for it. And I remember you when you could see all the intensity when you're building up, like do, right into the crashes, and I was just sitting there like, yes, this is great.
There was a video you put up, a drum cam video from tour, and you were playing like floor tom, snare drum together, like that build up really, really fast, like whoa, that's ace, man. The left hand and the right hand was you couldn't get a piece of paper between them. They were so tight and totally flat, but at record tempo, at record volume. It's
yeah, that was Whipping Boy.
Right,
By
that's
the Quireboys.
right. Okay.
And I can't. I'm not saying I done it, but I thought in my head at the time, like that build up thing, when I started playing that song with those guys, I thought like that kind of needs a build up there. But I asked the boys first before I could do that. I was like, do you fancy, let's try a build up in this bit?
Yeah.
And we were all in on it. I'm not trying to take credit. That was my idea.
Yeah.
It was like we're all kind of helping out, and that build up, I had to really get that right.
Yeah, you made a rod for your own back there. Let's do a really hard build up.
Sweating after
Because it's really fast.
Yeah. It is. It's so fast that build up because it's so quiet as
and
well,
especially live as well.
Sticks away, but yeah, the energy's got to be right up there.
And were you on Click?
No.
For that live show, no. So you just had to go purely on feel.
Yeah. Union and Quireboys are never on Click.
Right.
You have to go by feel with them.
Right. That's gonna be roasting.
Aye.
Especially if someone's had 2 beers and they want it a little bit faster.
I know. And the bad thing was, after that build up, there's still another 2 minutes to play in that song. Full volume.
Great.
That song 1 in the set. Rinsed.
Aye, absolutely. Yeah, man. You should post more, Dave. We think we've talked about this at length in here that you just post more videos because they're great.
That EAD 10 is brilliant.
It's game changing.
Where can people find you, Dave, on the socials?
Well, I mean, typical drummer Dave01 on Instagram.
Okay.
I mean, that's mainly where I post a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Do you have a dedicated Facebook page, or is it just your own personal page?
It's just my own personal one.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to separate that? Like fans trying to add you and
yeah,
might get a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, when I started really touring, I was finding like maybe family members were starting to kind of get added, and I was sort of like, oh, right.
Coming out the woodwork and stuff.
Yeah, and it was just sort of,
that stuff happened.
I was getting messages for like sister and mom, and I was like, I'm getting friend requests for you. I was like, no.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of had to like, right, okay, there needs to be a bit of separation
Private
here.
page. Would you ever set up just a drummer page?
I would, yeah.
Because that would let people find you.
It would,
without it being a personal life thing,
Yeah. It'd be a pretty cool idea to do.
Yeah.
I'd find to do it, and it means I can shift those videos onto there. And
yeah,
you
absolutely.
can say what you want or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
So at drummer Dave 101.
01.
Okay.
Yeah. Sort of thing.
Well,
put it in the show notes.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was a good chat, man.
That was a good chat.
Yeah,
It was
good
good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like, I think people, it's nice for people to have a little insight to what we're all about as people, rather than just
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
working here.
yeah. I think we should do one on you next. Like really rain in on you.
Is this just because you want to like get revenge for all the things I've said?
Nah, man, you're always behind the camera. And it's just sort of like, let's bring the boy out.
He's always behind the camera, as he said, sat in front of 3 cameras.
I know.
I mean, it could be, we could do a home, we've got 2 loads of staff now, really, don't we? So we should get some lead stuff done as well.
I think we should get Jake on this as
Yeah, absolutely.
well. And Gordon, and Paul,
Yeah,
and Bryn, and Katie,
yeah.
and just,
Yeah,
and you, Chris. Oh no, wait, you're already on it.
Gordon's going to be...
I mean, I think Gordon would have great insight about live, drummers playing live and how your kit should be set up, how your kit should be tuned for working with an engineer. He's also a really great bass player.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know he's a bass player.
Yeah, he's a really great bass player. And he can play bass and do sound and work lights all at once.
And you've seen it?
I have seen it. It's phenomenal to watch. He's great. He really is great, man. Like, he's got a lot of valuable information.
Indispensable.
Completely. And he'll build you a website,
Yeah.
I remember I'm turning up to do a dep gig one day with a band that I had played with for on and off for a while, and I loaded my drums in, and Gordon's here. But I've come up in the van with the bass player, like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm playing keys tonight. It's like, what? It's like,
no way.
Okay. And he would just look over and be like, what keys is this in? And he would tell him, and that was him. Just amazing. So talented.
Yeah.
So talented. And he's stuck through the back, just working away, just doing his thing, being awesome. But he's got lots of cool stuff that people don't know,
I bet he's a dark horse at singing as well.
Oh, he sings backing vocals. Sings great backing vocals as well, man. He does. Great harmonizer. Honestly, he's a great harmonizer. Yeah, he's super talented musician.
We
you
need to
know.
get Gordon on this.
Absolutely,
ASAP.
absolutely. So,
That'd be fun.
so yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
No problem at all.
It's good chat,
I
and
love this.
I'll see you. I'll see you working Saturday.
I see Saturday.
I'll see you probably tomorrow. You'll
See you through the window.
yeah.
Like, subscribe, all that good stuff,
Yep.
and
Make sure you obviously come and visit us as well. If you've got any questions, email us at info@drummersonlyu.co.uk, and
yeah,
that's it.
and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank y'all.
Bye.